is something that we use when we have a triangle that is not right angled and you realize, horror of horrors, there is actually no corresponding side and angle given. Okay, now if you were to look at 125 degrees and x centimeters, yes, they are corresponding, but we actually do not know what x is. If we look at 14 centimeters, there is actually no corresponding angle. When we look at 11 centimeters, there's also no corresponding angle. So when we have such a situation, we end up using cosine rule. What is cosine rule? So allow me to turn back to the top of the page on page 65. We have sine rule being a squared equals to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine a. Uppercase A and lowercase a refers to the corresponding angle and side that we would have marked out just now. And of course, one of it will be an unknown. One of it will be our x. As for sides B and C, they are the other two lengths of the triangle that are given, but with no indication in the question that we need to find the angles. So let's have a look back at the question at hand. Question I. Allow me to write down the cosine rule. So it will be firstly, let's find the corresponding side and angle, where one of it is x. So we have 125 degrees corresponding to x. X will be our lowercase a and uppercase A will be 125 degrees. Now what's B and what's C? It can be B equals 11, C equals to 14, or B equals to 14, C equals to 11. The order does not matter. So for annotation's sake, let's just put down B being 11 cm and C being 14 centimeters for a start. I think it's good for us to note down so that when we substitute the values, it's a lot easier on our end. So from here, we can see that after substituting in, a square equals to 11 square plus 14 square minus 2 times 11 times 14 cos 125 degrees. Can we find A from here? Yes, we can. In fact, we square root the entire expression entire solution, number that we have worked out from here. And I would end up with 22.218, which is 22.2 cm, 23 SF. Okay, so try to get the hang of this cosine rule by trying questions J, K, L, M, N. If we do a little backtrack, I would think that it might be worth our time looking into question L together. Okay, I will remove the homework sign here. Let's do this together, because why? This question requires us not to find a missing length, but a missing angle. So we know that a squared equals to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a, and these two are corresponding. If we want to find the angle, okay, if our unknown is in the angle, we have to use another formula. And the formula is such that we want to make uppercase A the subject. So what are we doing essentially? This whole expression here, minus 2b cos A, I'm going to move it to the left. Okay, so that will give me positive, right? So I will get 2bc cos A. And what I'm going to do to the a square left over here, I'm going to move it to the right. And that will give me b squared plus c squared minus a squared. Now, one more step to making a the subject. We don't want 2bc on the left. We bring it to the right through division. So b squared plus c squared minus a squared out of 2bc. That gives us cos a. One more step. How can we leave the a alone? What do we do to the cosine? We bring it over, and that would give us cosine inverse. B squared plus c squared minus a squared out of 2bc. So what I'm showing you is essentially the derivation of a formula where a, uppercase A, is the subject. Alright, with that, if you find it's complicated, well, you might want to commit this to memory after you have understood the derivation. Yep. So let's find the angle theta. Let's sub all our values into the second formula. And from here, we can see that A is theta. Corresponding value of lowercase a will be 5. Let's allow 8 to be b and 12 to be c. Okay, so substituting the values in, okay, I'm going to write my answer in the space for k. Yeah? So that will be theta equals to cosine inverse of 8 square plus 12 square minus 5 square out of 2 times 8 times 12. Let's put all of these into our calculator. One GP. Yeah. So that's how we come up with the answer. Okay. Go ahead and try questions M, N, as well as P. So before we end off, I would like to just do one more question. Question O. And this is a question where there are 3 triangles, okay? We have the first triangle. Whichever triangle we need to refer to get the missing lengths and angles, we need to be very, very clear, all right? So we want to find x, okay? So let's take a look at x, and you realize that x is within 2 triangles. It's a length on 2 triangles, ABC, ABD. Now between triangle ABC, which is the one that is highlighted in pink, and the other triangle ABD highlighted in blue, which triangle gives more details? You realize that ABC does, right? Okay, so for angle ABC, I will see that there is a 52 degrees and there is a corresponding side of 10 cm. We have x cm that we want to find. And are we able to find the corresponding angle? Yes, we can, because if one side of angle ACD is 80, then ACB will be 180 degrees minus 80 degrees. Angles on a straight line. Okay, so we have 100 degrees here. With corresponding sides and angles, this is the point where we ask ourselves, do we use sine rule or cosine rule? Yes, that's sine rule. So with sine rule, it will be sine 52 degrees out of 10 equals to sine 100 degrees out of x. Cross multiply. And from here, in order to find the value of x, we bring our sine 52 over to the other side. So from here, we round it off to 3SF. Okay, now let's have a look at the other unknown. The other unknown, y, is a length that is found within ACD and ABD. ABD, we don't seem like we know a certain part of, we don't know BC, so that's not very helpful to us. However, within the yellow triangle ACD, you realize that you have two sides given and one angle and a corresponding length that is an unknown. So this means that we have to use cosine rule. Yes, cosine rule. Now, so with cosine rule, we will have, let me write it in the space for P. Y squared equals to 10 squared plus 16 squared minus 2 times 10 times 16 cos 80. So y means that we have to square root the expression that we have above okay, and we round it off to 3SF. Yeah. So this is pretty much what I would like to go through for these 2 days. Sine rule, cosine rule, as well as area of triangles.